Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today, we're going to talk about a film that, I'm going to be bluntly honest here. The only reason I watched this film is because John Travolta was in it. And I said, that seems like that can be interesting. I know he's in his Bruce Willis period where he's doing a lot of movies that go straight to VOD, and maybe some of them are not the best projects. But here, I thought with the rest of the cast that this film could have potential. So, this one is called Cash Out. And here's a quick synopsis. Professional thief Mason attempts his biggest heist with his brother, robbing a bank. When it goes wrong and they're trapped inside, surrounded by law enforcement, tensions rise as Mason negotiates with his ex-lover, the lead negotiator. And this one is directed by, and I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, Ives. It's only one name they gave me for the director here. Very different there. John Travolta, who plays Mason. Then we have Kristin Davis, another reason why I love this movie, who plays Amelia, who's also his ex-lover. We have Lukas, another great actor there, and he plays Sean, which is Mason's brother. And then we have Quavo. I possibly should have known that Quavo maybe to skip this film. But nonetheless, I still watch all of Cash Out. I'm going to first start off by saying, if this movie had $15 to $20 million more in budget, it could have been extremely interesting. Because it didn't, it's a lot of moves here that are budget restraints that really hold this film back. When we get to the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Mason and Amelia as they're just a couple trying to pull off a job. And because the budget isn't not necessarily where it needed to be, there's not a lot of explanation exactly what goes on. All you know is by the end of everything is that Mason finds out Amelia is an agent and she's been there to set him up, to put him behind bars, so him and his team escape and get away. And next thing you know, we fast forward, I don't know if it's amount of months, amount of years. Nothing is really explained to us exactly this fast forward. But with this fast forward, we are reintroduced to Luke's character, Sean, as Sean has put together what he feels is the biggest heist in the world. Or at the time for them as a crew. You kind of know from the beginning that this isn't a smart idea. The film leads you to believing a lot of stuff isn't a smart idea. They attempt to surprise you. And this is the issue with Cash Out. At times, this film attempts to surprise you. It throws curveballs at you that maybe if you've never seen a film of this nature in the 90s, the 2000s, or the 2010s, maybe it would catch you off guard and you'd be like, oh man, that's amazing. If you've seen any bank heist films in this time period, you kind of know what's going to happen. You kind of know, she's going to end up showing up and then everything's going to go awry. No plan is worked out. None of it matters because, again, with this film like Cash Out, I think this is a situation where I think they thought it was a smarter script than it was, but it's not necessarily a smart script. So what you have to do is lean into the silliness, but this is a hyper-focused, serious type of movie here. They don't ever really lean into the foolishness of the overall plot of the film, which I think could have made this film more watchable. Instead, we get John Travolta back in his general daughter or basic mode of a character, just on the opposite side of the law here. And that doesn't, it almost feels too old to work for John Travolta at this point. And that's a big flaw with this film here. Is one, the action is subpar at best. At moments when they have to attempt to use effects, they don't look good. And in the end, there is no chemistry between him and Kristin Davis throughout this entire film that will make you believe that they were in a relationship. And that alone is a problem. But one of the brightest parts of the film, amazingly, as I said earlier in this film, when I saw Quavo's name, maybe I should have known better and decided this was not for me. I'm happy I did watch the whole film because Quavo's one of the few bright spots in this film. It gets points where you want to see him more on film because it's a sort of silly element that his character adds to the film. While the character is not the joke of the film, far from it, but it feels like as you're watching it, Quavo understands it's not that serious of a project, and he's embracing that fully. And his character is actually set up to embrace that fully, unlike everyone else's character, that everything is super serious, super hostile in this film, with it being a bank robber type of film. But Cash Out, available on all VOD platforms humanly possible. Out of a possible 10, I am going to give Cash Out 5.5 out of 10. John Travolta is still John Travolta. He is extremely charming, and he works really well here. Kristin Davis is still a great actress who can really do wonders to a role. I just wish either one of them did this film with a bigger budget and with a different lead following them. Because both of them do adequate jobs in this film, but because it leans on them being together, you don't ever really believe that they're together. And that's the problem with this film. You don't actually believe in the elements of it. But, hey, maybe the movie gods have looked down upon this film because from what I saw reported, Cash Out already has a sequel greenlit that's going to go into production soon. How? I do not know. Don't ask me. This was not a good film. This was a film that really suffered just from feeling like it was released in the wrong time period. And some of the moves that they make between Luke's character and John's character, it feels too old. It feels like moves you would expect someone in the early 2000s to say, hey, this is a film and let's say this is how we get away, or how we set up, or how we fall in love. Like, all those elements of the film feel extremely old here. So, again, I don't know how we got a sequel. I am amazed that enough people viewed this to watch it. But check it out. Again, currently available on VOD. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.